Now at 11, COVID-19 tests are in high demand and short supply, with the Omicron variant spreading right before the holidays. We've got to look at your best bet for finding a test right now. Plus,
I feel violated. I feel like that Vancouver's going in the wrong direction right now.
a man who confronted a car prowler ended up getting shot at after he chased the suspect. And the big question this week, will we have a white Christmas weekend? ODOT is preparing for the possibility of a winter storm hitting right when a lot of people are on the road.
This is KGW News at 11.
And good evening, I'm Tim Gordon. We start with that growing need for COVID testing as holiday gatherings draw near. Family members want to be safe, and for some, that means knowing if they're infected. Catherine Cook shows us where several people got tested today and how you can sign up.
Outside the Oregon Convention Center Wednesday, dozens of people waited in line to get a COVID test. Demand for tests is soaring as the fast-moving Omicron variant collides with upcoming family gatherings. Many drugstores are sold out of home tests. Drive-through appointments are few. Right now, one of the best bets seems to be healthcare startup Curative, which is teaming up with the Oregon Health Authority. They're testing at the convention center and other spots around the Portland area.
To keep themselves and their loved ones safe. And that's really what it's all about for us.
Blake Lackey is Senior Director of Operations for Curative's National Division. He says in the last few days, testing at their 22 sites across Oregon has doubled. They're planning to open 10 more Oregon testing sites in January, including 4 in the Portland metro area. Lackey suggests making an appointment online at curative.com, although they do take walk-ups. He says about half the people in this line had appointments, but given high volume, waiting is still part of the process.
We're very sympathetic to people that obviously are there for a reason. They're probably unsure of what's going on and they just want some answers.
Doctors are still learning about the Omicron variant, but right now, this much is clear.
When you get one of the tests, virtually all the tests will be positive. If you've got Omicron.
Clark County Health Officer Dr. Alan Melnick says the same rules still apply for preventing the spread of COVID regardless of the variant.
Avoiding gatherings, especially gatherings where where masks are not being used and physical distancing is not possible. And people who are unvaccinated should get vaccinated.
Health officials say that includes people who've already had COVID. Also, those eligible for a booster should get one. The Oregon Health Authority just expanded holiday hours at several vaccination sites. For instance, in Gresham, at the former Kmart building on Northwest Burnside Road. That site will now be open December 23rd and 26th, 2 days on which they had planned to close. So what if you can't get a COVID test and you think you might be sick? Clackamas County's public health director suggests you might have to make some tough decisions.
Have good communications with one another and just be open and honest about how you're feeling. If someone doesn't feel well, stay home. That's critical.
Catherine Cook, KGW News.
And doctors will have a new option to fight COVID cases. Today, the FDA authorized Pfizer's COVID antiviral pill. The FDA says the pill helps reduce the risk of hospitalization and death from COVID. Anyone 12 or older with a mild to moderate case of COVID can take the pill at home. Authorities expect supplies to be limited and say it is not meant to be a vaccine replacement. Well, the new variant is leading to canceled and postponed events across the country and here in Portland, and that includes tomorrow night's Blazers game. That matchup between the Blazers and the Brooklyn Nets has been postponed. The Nets team has been decimated by COVID. In fact, they don't even have the league required 8 players to field a team. Meantime, the return of the Jinx and Della holiday show at downtown Portland's Newmark Theater has been canceled after several company members tested positive. It is a hard hit for an already struggling industry.
We've just come out of the last 18 months in pretty bad financial shape, having lost all of our business for so long. And things were looking really good for us. We have a lot of shows on the books.
A trade show at the Oregon Convention Center that was scheduled for January has also been canceled due to the spreading Omicron variant. Well, it is a busy travel week, and now a winter storm appears to be on the way. ODOT is preparing for snow. I-5 at the Oregon-California border is a trouble spot. In fact, last week, the southbound lanes were shut down for more than 30 hours at the request of California officials. ODOT has crews on standby, ready for snowy conditions this week.
It's going to be a struggle. And so we're going to be out there. We're going to keep that highway clean and swept as best we can. But we really need the public to be prepared.
Yeah, make sure you check road conditions on Trip Check and be sure to pack emergency supplies in your car just in case. Okay, let's check in with meteorologist Chris McGinnis. Chris, what can we expect?
Well, in that direction, in southern Oregon, remember, Siskiyou Summit is up around 4,100 feet or so. They are expecting winter storm conditions as well. So if you have travel plans, Christmas Eve heading down towards Northern California, you might want to get an early start on them because they're going to have rough weather again. A little closer to our area, I want to take it live right now up to Government Camp. This is Highway 26, again, right around 4,000 feet or so. ODOT reporting at last check, 36 inches of roadside snow. We've got a little slush covering up there this evening, but and there goes somebody kind of navigating that and maybe shimmying just a little bit up there on the slush. In any event, the snow continues flying in the Cascades. A winter storm warning is still in effect for the Oregon and Washington Cascades through 4 o'clock tomorrow above 4,000 feet. Additional accumulations probably upwards of a foot between now and tomorrow afternoon. You can see the snowfall map just lights up. So the Cascade ski resorts continue to do well. You'll note towards the tail end of this forecast that we start to see some snow accumulation in the highest of the coast range. Snow levels will continue lowering to impact the coastal passes as we get into Friday night, Christmas Eve. 1,500-foot snow levels there. The snow levels lower again with another weather disturbance on Christmas Day down to 1,000 feet. So now that brings in the West Hills of Portland and Mount Scott over on the east side and some of the highest points in Washington counties, Yamhill County and also Clark County. So there are some locations that could see some snow on the ground Christmas Day. And then by Sunday, the day after Christmas, I think all of us in the lowlands have at least a chance to see some minor accumulation. The temperatures, though, are going to be key to that because I do think that if we do manage to get below freezing the day after Christmas on Sunday, we'll probably recover a few degrees. Tim, I can tell you, though, right now with temperatures in the upper 40s, this is about as warm as we're going to be because my 7-day forecast shows us several days next week possibly not getting above freezing. More on that coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay, thanks a lot, Chris, and we'll see you soon. We have an update now. Police have arrested the man they believe tried to kidnap a 6-year-old boy in the Pearl District. We first told you about the story last week. Surveillance video showed what happened, and thankfully the boy's dad was able to stop the kidnapping. Today, someone spotted the suspect, 30-year-old Eric Alexander, and called 911. Police arrested him near Northwest 10th and Davis. Detectives think he tried to do this 4 other times last week. Well, Gresham police are asking for your help to find the man accused of murdering a 17-year-old in Portland this summer. This is 26-year-old Isaac Bynum Jr. Today, the Multnomah Circuit Court issued a warrant for his arrest. The shooting happened on August 24th on Northeast 8th Street and Hood Avenue. Police found the victim about 2 miles away in a car on Southeast 182nd and Division. Police say 17-year-old Seneca Alexander, and you see a picture of him there, well, he had multiple gunshot wounds and he died at the hospital. Well, a car prowler shot at a homeowner earlier this morning as the homeowner chased after the suspect. Fortunately, they were not hurt by that gunfire. The dangerous situation happened in Clark County. Before noon on Wednesday, Clark County Sheriff's deputies were going door to door. They were talking to neighbors around Northeast 165th Avenue and 32nd Street. This is where the sheriff's office says as many as 3 suspects were breaking into cars and where one of them shot at a homeowner who caught them prowling.
There's guy, starts there. There's another one. All right, I think I found
One neighbor named Dan showed us security video from his cameras. You can see a couple of people moving down the street about 15 minutes before the gunshot was fired around 3:30 a.m.
They were basically just walking from one house to the next, just checking doors. And we were sad to see that my neighbor, his door was opened and then 2 of them rifled through it. And then they just kept on proceeding down. Yeah.
Dan's video shows exactly what happened as one prowler broke into his neighbor Terry's vehicle.
You can see in the car everything. They've scattered all over. I don't know exactly what is missing. I need to check the car documents.
Terry and his family are pretty new to this Clark County neighborhood and not expecting this kind of trouble.
I think I just have to heighten vigilance now, like ensuring the cars were locked. I don't know how they open the car because usually there is an alarm.
But that one of his neighbors was shot at by a car prowler takes everything to the next level.
Involving shots is dangerous. I imagine if someone was outside or if the door was open, they could actually come into the house.
And as deputies continued to gather information in this seemingly quiet neighborhood, Dan hopes the heat gets turned up on criminals.
I feel violated. I feel like that Vancouver's going in the wrong direction right now. And we're allowing and being too permissive on this stuff.
And to that end, if you have any information about the suspects, especially the one who fired the gun, or have security video to share, we have information on the detective to contact at kgw.com. Well, the city of Portland will pay a $100,000 settlement to a man who was part of protests in 2020. He sued, saying he was just standing there with a sign, but was pepper sprayed, thrown to the ground, and unlawfully arrested. Take a look. Now, this video shows police trying to take Dmitry Stoyanov's sign. He was in a public park as part of a Black Lives Matter protest, encouraging people to vote. Stoyanov's lawyer says Sergeant Justin Damerville ordered the arrest of anyone with a weapon, but that Stoyanov never used the sign violently and didn't even move toward officers. He said Stoyanov is not anti-police, but that incidents like this create deeper distrust.
For daring to passively refuse to allow police to do whatever illegal thing they wanted, he was attacked. It's not just a few bad apples, it's a police and city culture that allows bad apples to thrive and make other apples rotten.
Now, city commissioners voted unanimously to award the settlement. Commissioner Joanne Hardesty also apologized to Stoyanov. The Oregonian reports the city will have paid at least $335,000 this year to settle protest-related lawsuits involving police. That includes this case.